Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into making extra money while working a full-time job. We are totally dismantling a massive myth today. The idea that you have to trade away all your precious free time just to bring in some extra cash. If you're already juggling 40 or 50 hours a week, the thought of starting a side hustle probably sounds, well, completely exhausting. But what if the problem isn't your lack of time, but exactly how you're using it? Let's get right into it.
You know the drill. We're constantly told that solving our financial problems just requires working more hours. Pick up overtime, get a weekend gig, drive for a rideshare app. But honestly, picking up a second job when you're already dead on your feet from your 9 to 5, it's a losing game. It drains the energy you'd use to actually be present with your family, and it completely eats up that thin margin of rest that keeps you from burning out entirely.
Let's actually look at the brutal math of that traditional part-time gig for a second. Say you take a $15 an hour evening job. Well, after taxes, the gas to get there, and those takeout dinners you buy because you're simply too tired to cook, you're actually netting closer to $12 an hour. That is a terrible exchange rate for giving up your precious evenings and weekends, right?
So here's our roadmap for today. We're going to cover escaping the time for money trap, building your 5-hour engine, choosing an income stream, surviving the first month dip, and finally, launching your first 5 hours.
Starting with part 1, the time for money trap.
The source material brings up this absolutely fascinating concept called the shadow wage. Basically, the real cost of that $12 an hour gig isn't just your time. It's the highly profitable income you miss out on because you are completely drained of mental bandwidth. While you're working a low-rate shift, you're missing out on learning a high-value skill or securing a premium freelance client that could pay you 5 times as much. You are literally losing money by working that job.
Moving right along to part 2, building your 5-hour engine. To escape that shadow wage, our sources point us toward climbing the ladder of income intensity. Most folks, they get stuck right on the bottom rung, taking low-tiered tasks that pay below $50 an hour. But just shifting up to the second rung, offering skilled services like resume writing or targeted virtual assistants, can instantly double or even triple your income for the exact same 5 hours of work. And as you eagerly climb up to the third and top rungs, your hourly rate fully decouples from your time entirely.
Now, climbing that ladder requires a pretty massive identity shift. It means dropping that employee mindset, the one that waits for permission and assumes someone else sets your worth. Instead, the data strongly suggests adopting a hyper-efficient earner mindset. You confidently set your own market value based on the actual results you deliver, not the hours you clock. You become the rate setter.
And once you raise those rates, you'll inevitably hit a ceiling on your available time. To break through that, you pull what's called the Scalability Lever. This means using simple automations like scheduling software, digital media that sells while you sleep, or micro-outsourcing for those annoying repetitive tasks. This effectively multiplies your output without adding a single extra hour to your week. It's a real game changer.
But listen, to make this actually work, you really have to dodge the dribs and drabs approach. Working 15 minutes here, 20 minutes there, that completely destroys your momentum because of the context switching penalty. Instead, the research emphasizes the 5-hour sprint, one continuous, uninterrupted, highly focused block dedicated exclusively to your side income. That is where the real progress happens.
All right, part 3, choosing your income stream.
Bouncing from idea to idea is exactly why so many beginners fail. You don't need 100 hustles. You really just need to choose from one of 3 deliberate categories based on your immediate needs: fast cash, scalable income, or passive royalties. Need fast cash? Go with freelance work or supercharging gig economy apps. Want scalable income? Try digital products, coaching, dropshipping, or affiliate marketing. Looking for the long game? Royalty-based passive income is your target. The whole key is just picking one.
Whichever stream you go with, the 80-20 rule is non-negotiable. You literally have to ruthlessly trim what the author calls invisible theater. That's the endless research, redesigning your logo for the 10th time, those aesthetic tweaks that make you feel productive but pay you exactly $0. Focus solely on the 20% of actions that directly generate revenue, like actually pitching clients or publishing your product.
This brings us to part 4, surviving the first month dip.
Look, when you launch, your cash earned might sit stubbornly at 0. Do not panic. The strategy here is to track your banked hours instead of your dollars. This initial phase is all about building trust, visibility, and learning the market. It is biologically impossible to plant a seed and harvest a tomato 3 days later, right? So don't quit right when the soil is being tilled.
During this time, clients are probably going to ghost you. Try not to take it personally. It's business, not a dating app. They're just busy.
Instead, use this simple 3-touch recovery sequence to gently re-enter their awareness. Send a thank you note right away. 3 days later, drop a piece of value, maybe a helpful article, with absolutely zero pressure. 7 days later, send a gentle message closing the loop. You'd be amazed at how many ghosts suddenly turn into paying clients just because you were persistent but polite.
Now, if you ever feel that hustle sickness creeping in, actually, scratch that. When you feel it creeping in, the text recommends triggering an immediate restart week. Clear your pipeline of open loops, fire your most draining clients, and raise your prices by 25 to 50%. You'll work less for sure, but because you're charging a premium, you'll likely earn more. It's a highly strategic reset designed to protect that 5-hour boundary.
Finally, Part 5. Launching your first 5 hours.
As Anton D. Grantham brilliantly puts it, perfectionism in side hustles is just a stall tactic dressed up as diligence. You really have to give yourself permission to be beautifully imperfect. Waiting until you feel totally ready or until your website is flawless guarantees you are nothing. The internet rewards speed and iteration, not perfection.
So, before you start the clock on your sprint, make a solid commitment. You will focus on exactly one stream. You'll set one completable goal, like publishing a listing or sending 10 pitches. And you will track one input metric, not dollars earned, but actions taken. This keeps you entirely focused on what you can actually control.
All right, here is your concrete blueprint for that 5-hour sprint. Spend hour 1 setting up your profile or draft. Hour 2, refine just one key element, like the headline. Hour 3, hit publish, completely despite your fear. Hour 4, distribute it manually to relevant places. And Hour 5, document your results and plan your next sprint. Block it out and aggressively stick to the schedule.
And you know, when you get that very first payout, even if it's literally just $12.40 from a digital template like one of the examples in our source material, it creates this monumental psychological shift. That small number proves that your system actually works independent of your physical presence. It proves you can generate value totally on your own terms.
The math is clear, the strategy is totally laid out. So the only question left is, are you going to let another exhausting weekend pass you by, or will you claim your 5 hours and start building the leverage you deserve? Think about it. Thanks for joining this explainer, and we'll catch you next time.